Okay, so this is the new DJM-A9 mixer with Bluetooth that everybody's talking about right now. At least if you follow Pioneer DJ, it was leaked recently, although I don't believe the leak at all. That's just a marketing thing. Manufacturers want their devices to be leaked so that people can start talking about them. That's all it's doing, is spurring social media interest. I think we all understand that. But anyway, $2,700 is the current price, which I think is very high. Now, I say this as an XDJ XZ owner and a S9 owner. I don't recall offhand what I paid for both of those, but it was significantly less than $2,700. Now, this is not the same thing as an S9 or as an XDJ XZ. I get it. But let's take a look at some of the features, because some of them I think are good and some of them I just scratch my head about. And then I want to talk about something I see coming down the pipe that has nothing to do with hardware controllers. So let me zoom in on this and start taking a look. Some of the first things that I noticed right away, again, since I have an XDJ XZ, the center looks a lot like what I'm familiar with, except that we don't have these Q buttons here and we don't have beat effects lights, I think those are. But the faders are exactly the same, and then the A and B and through switch is exactly the same. And the crossfader is exactly the same. And I like the crossfader. I always have on the S9. It's buttery smooth, as they say. I can scratch. I'm not the best in the world on that, but I'm good enough to get by, and I like these faders better than anything else that I've really used. So they're nice. The channel fader and crossfader settings are no longer on the side panel, or no longer on, not here, but here. As you can see, this whole panel is basically blank except for the headphones, which, by the way, while we're here, always have loved the fact that they include 1/4 inch plus 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch. For those times you bring your headphones and you forget the 1/4 inch adapter, you can plug it straight in. So that's very useful. That seems to be standard equipment now on all Pioneer gear. So going back here, that's the main difference I noticed was the Q buttons. I'm not sure why one is in black, white letters on a black background, and the other one is black letters on a white background. There's some reason for that I don't understand yet. Interesting to me that this, if you look at the screws, this means that this whole section can come out. It can be unscrewed. So it's interesting to me where they place the screws, and I think some of that is going to be for customizing. You could dip that in gold or whatever, or dip the whole thing in chrome or something, or maybe it's more of an access, like you might need to replace these one day, so we're making it easier for you. I don't know. I like in the headphone section they have split, and I'm not sure what link Q is all about. I have never liked the Q and master dial. I like switches for that, switches with independent volume, but I've learned to get used to that. But I always get confused on level and then Q and master. I think on the XDJ, Q and master is above level, but if they were to switch this, you would grab the wrong rotary and turn the wrong knob and blast your ears off, which I've done accidentally on level when I'm trying to just switch it over to master really quick, and I end up blasting my ears with volume that I didn't want. I'm pretty sure on the XDJ it's Q and master on top and then level on the bottom. The EQ curve, I don't know what they mean by ISO. I mean, I know what ISO is, but I don't know what they're talking to about the curve there. Not something that concerns me, nothing that I would ever really use. Channel faders, I do like that this is selectable. Again, on the S9, that's going to be on the front panel. Same thing with crossfader. Curves are going to be on the front panel. You only get 3 presets. They're not adjustable in any way. Kind of don't like that, but I can deal with it. For guys that do up fader mixing, they're going to really want this stuff and have it right here rather than having to look down. So I think that's a nice feature. Booth EQ, I don't use booth, so it doesn't matter to me. But all you have is high and low, and all you get is 2 frequencies. So that might be limiting to some people. let's go to the top right. So the X-Pad, I like the X-Pad. I like these little, these bumps because you can feel them when you're moving around. So if you've got your finger on there or multiple fingers on there and you're looking at the crowd or looking somewhere else, you kind of know where you are on the pad. That is nice. Looks like they've upgraded the display here. It's no longer the other type of display. I'm not sure what if that was OLED or maybe this is OLED. I don't know, but upgraded display, which is nice. So that's a nice nice feature bump, I would call it. I'll come back to the effects though because I have some concerns with them. So if we move around a little bit more, tap for quantize, that's nice. I always like that. You can increase and decrease the beats per minute on the effects there. It's fine. I don't use it much, but it's nice to have. I just pretty much have quantize on at all times. Low, mid, and high, I do this sometimes when I'm messing with effects. Now, this versus the XDJ-XZ, we don't have Helix. We don't have triplet roll. We don't have Mobius. We don't have triplet filter. But I think we have everything else on the XDJ-XZ. So you guys get Helix on these and triplet roll and Mobius. We do have spiral. Again, I'll come back to the effects here because they're nice. They're hardware effects, but I have some issues with them. Channel select, I guess this is related to which channel gets the effect. So that's cool. And Mike does CFA, CFB. I'm not sure what CF is. And MST, I'm not sure what that is either. This is your time knob. Hardly ever use it. This is your level knob. I do use that a lot. A lot of times I'll have one hand on level and one hand on the X-Pad, on the XDJ-Z. The XDJ-XZ. The on-off, yeah, I sometimes use that, but more often than not, I don't use it. So no big deal there, I would say. So the big deals to me so far are the Q buttons, the nice display up here. So those are the big, and the fact that these have Helix, triplet roll, triplet filter, although I'm not sure that I would ever use those. But those are kind of big deals, I guess. I don't know what insert is up here. I guess that's for, and I can't even tell what this is. I don't know what that is, if that's an input of some kind or what. Now, for these USBs, it is very nice that they have these closing covers here because otherwise you can get dirt and dust and all sorts of things in there. So it's nice to have it closed because otherwise you're going to spill a drink or, dust and dirt's going to get in there. Next time you plug in your USB, it's not going to work. So those are always nice. I got to figure out what insert is, and I also can't see I don't know what this multi-IO thing is all about. So maybe that's a big deal. I need to look into that. I've noticed they now have a Bluetooth selector here. I don't remember that in any previous mixer models, but I could be wrong. Computer A, computer B, USB. I'm not certain what the difference is between A, B, and USB. Maybe that's a different USB source other than computer. Return must be, I'm guessing that's if you send effects send and effects return. So you could have a separate effects return channel. I'm guessing that's what that's for. Phono, of course, is phono. Digital. Not sure what that's all about. Not sure why you would use that, but maybe stagehands that do shows with DJs would know and could tell me. But not something I use. Again, here we have these covers, really nice, definitely needed. Now this is where I'm scratching my head. Do we really need phantom power? How many microphones do you have that use phantom power? Aren't you just using like an SM58 or something like that, or maybe a lavalier microphone or a head-worn microphone? Nothing that uses phantom power. I'm surprised that they put that here because I could see people turning this on, not knowing what it does, possibly blowing up their microphone as a result. I don't know what happens if you turn it on, if it's B9. If you have an SM58 hooked up where you don't need phantom power and you turn it on, is that going to blow up your SM58? I don't think so, but it was just surprising to me that they had that button right there. Bluetooth pairing, of course you need to have that. Not sure how that works. Bluetooth can be a real beast. It's great when it works, but when it doesn't, it is a huge pain. MIDI on and off, I'm not sure what this is all about, other than maybe for performance DJs that are, DJs backing up like a major label artist or something that's on a stage, and you start the performance by clicking the start button. That starts the song if you have it sequenced and programmed. I guess that's what that is. Not sure. Sound color FX, where center lock is on and off. This is the sound color, low and high. I love these dials. I love the ability to select the effect, use the dial, and then also change parameters at the same time. That's nice. And then center lock, I guess that's not going to be a feel thing, but that's just going to be, I guess center means that it's off or something to that effect. So maybe you could select dub echo, and maybe center lock means that dub echo is actually off. I don't know. Or it could be dub echo at lowest setting is 0, highest setting is 100. I don't know. We don't have that on the XDJ XZ. Not something that I'm concerned about anyway. Again, some of the hardware effects things that I'll come back to. I like mono split, and I don't know what Link Q does, but there are 2 headphones, phones A and phones B. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess if you have two performers on the stage at the same time, which of course happens often, but not often enough for me. It's not something that I would ever want or need. Push to talk mic. I'm wondering if you have to hold that button down or not. I would think it's cool if that's a setting. You press it once and it stays on versus needing to hold it down while you talk. I do like push to talk mics. I think that's a nice feature. Mic reverb, I would never use that. The S9 has mic reverb, and I hardly ever use it. It's mostly just an annoying thing. Mic effects, I would never use these probably. Pitch, echo, megaphone, sure. Seems a little bit gimmicky to me, but I could see where people would use it. Talk over, of course, is nice, but I want to be able to customize that. That's my beef with talk over. I can't control it. That's why you see a lot of DJs just move the up faders as they talk. Like, look at a guy like Easy Mo B. Watch his, he's the guy that produced for Biggie Smalls and many others. Watch his Instagram videos where he DJs, and when he talks, he doesn't use talk over. He just moves the fader, and I think it's pretty cool. I think that's a better way to do it. You have better control over it. Do not like the fact that all we have on EQ for the mic is low and high. There's no mid. Also, we have a fixed frequency on low and high, so there's no Q. There's no way for me to adjust the frequency. I want to be able to say, 500 hertz, roll it off, or 100 hertz, roll it off, things like that. I don't want whatever frequency you give me, and then all I get is a low and high. So, plus add to the fact that the preamps on these mixers are terrible for microphones. So I wouldn't even use this because I don't trust them at all. I get feedback. There is no feedback canceller like there is on the XDJ XE. The feedback canceller comes in handy, I will say. It works pretty well. I've tested it pretty thoroughly on the XDJ XE, and I like it. But I still do not trust the mic preamps that they have. They're not brand name. They're not high quality. If they were high quality, the price of this would increase. So I'm not going to use these unless it's an emergency. Now, love the fact that they have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, but this is going to break right off. I can tell you that right now. And what I want to know is from the back of the unit, does it screw in or not? And I can't tell from this picture. If I zoom in, there it is. And some of these, they screw in. So if this broke off, all you have to do is unscrew it, throw it away, and buy the replacement part, which I'm sure they're going to charge you an arm and a leg for, although I'm sure there's also sort of aftermarket parts for this. It's just an antenna. There's nothing special about this, but I'm sure the Pioneer replacement part's going to be expensive. You are guaranteed to break this thing off. I'm sure it swings down. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it swings down. But it's just prone to break off. But still, you need an antenna, so I get why they have it. While we have the back panel here, let's take a look. So they have guarded or shrouded power, which is great in case you're accidentally you're feeling back here and you accidentally turn the power off during a set. It happens. Now this is your send for effects, send and return. I don't use that, but I could see folks that do, and that's a nice feature. Record out, I never use it. If I'm going to record, I'm going to record in Serato or Algorithm DJ. Master 2 out, I also never use that. So to me, having 4 outs, I don't get it. I'm also not a booth guy. I don't need booth sound. Maybe just a little bit, but I don't like the delay it introduces because I'm hearing the house plus the booth and it throws me off. So I just don't do booth, or sometimes I do very little booth. Of course, master goes to the house. Sometimes I send booth to like a secondary system, but I never really use this stuff. Digital, I'm told, is useful for venue setups. I think this is basically taking the light pipe out so that front of house can mix it or work with it in some way or record your set, that kind of thing. Now, this is the thing where I'm scratching my head. We literally have a balanced quarter-inch input for mic 2. Why? Who has a mic with a quarter-inch male tip ring sleeve? I mean, if you have that, you must have some... I don't know what kind of microphone you could possibly ever have that doesn't use XLR in this day and age. So no idea why they put that there. But there must be some reason I don't know about. I would not have done that. I would have just had one mic. I don't see the point of having 2. If you really, I mean, you can feed 2 mics into one channel easily with a splitter. So, or a little secondary mixer you can hang off here. So I have no idea why they did that. I wouldn't have done that, but whatever. Obviously, phono line for each channel and ground standard equipment. Let's see if there's anything else we can take a look at here. Now here they just give different, setups. Obviously this setup right here is going to cost you $10,000 plus, probably more like 15 grand just for this setup right here. This is your typical CDJ setup. Very, very nice setup. Don't get me wrong. Also pricey. So I don't think there's really anything else to show here, but let's take a quick look at the specs and then I'll give you my thoughts about the effects. There's nothing really that stands out here other than EQ. We don't have a Q to select the frequency. We have fixed frequencies: 20 kilohertz, 1 kilohertz, and 20 kilohertz. That's not supposed to say kilohertz. That should say hertz, and it shouldn't be 20. It should be like, I think that's a typo of some kind because low is not 20 kilohertz. So, and then the mic EQ, again, fixed 10 and 100. I don't like that. I mean, I want 100 cutoff, but you should never have. Why on earth would you send 100, anything below 100 hertz through the microphone? Like, your voice doesn't even produce 100 hertz. I don't think. I don't think the human voice can even really produce that. Maybe in like a subharmonic frequency accidentally, but it doesn't make any sense to me. So I would not have done that like that. So negative points to Pioneer for that one. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Performance controls are nice. So this is interesting because if you have sample rates of 9632, 96 kilohertz, 32 bits, chances are you are downsampling and bit crushing to 44.1 and 16, or maybe 44.1 and 32, or 24. 44.1, 24 is pretty common. So it's great that this thing does 96 and 32, but you're going to be doing conversion downward. So why do all that work? Unless you're keeping me at 96 and 32 all the way, but I highly doubt people are. So nice to have, but I don't see it being used much. Ethernet, I know they have a way of connecting everything this way. I thought it was funny that this wasn't 1000 base TX, but whatever. For your RJ45, using proprietary Pioneer stuff. I'm pretty sure that's what this is, but I haven't looked into it. Also in the documentation, they are showing a hub, which I think is kind of funny because hubs are no longer used anymore. So there's no reason to have a hub. It should be a switch. So there's that. USB-C BA. It's nice that this thing has USB-C. Happy to see that. We needed USB-C. A and B are such old school now. They're getting phased out. C is where it's at. C is where it will be at for the future. So this B and A is going to be gone before we know it. Wireless connectivity. I've got mixed feelings about all this. Coming back to that in just a minute. I think the rest of this is pretty standard. Signal to noise ratio, total harmonic distortion. I mean, these numbers can be, you can game the system on these numbers, so I'm not even paying any attention to that. Stagehand for iPad, that's the thing that the stagehand would use, or the front of house guy would use for their control of this. Now, that's it. Now back to this. So what I want to put in is a product like this, and this is because I don't see the need for hardware controllers in the future. I really don't. You know, like I said, I have an XDJ-XZ and I have an S9, and I also have a Behringer, what is it, a DDM-4000, and then I have, like, you know, Newmark mixers before that and stuff. But I've been using controllers for a long time now. But I don't even think I'm going to be using my XDJ-XZ very much anymore. And I just bought that thing 2 years ago. I just don't see the need for it when I have an iPad Pro running DJ, which is a great program. There's room for improvement on DJ too, but it has everything that I need, including the fact that an iPad Pro only costs, you know, I guess $1,200 or so, versus this mixer that cost, you know, I could get for $2,700, I could get 2 iPads and accessories. So I could hook up a dongle to this thing and do video mixing. Plus, DJ uses Sugar Bytes FX, which are much better in my opinion, much higher quality and much more controllable and editable than the Pioneer hardware effects. I think they just sound better. So, and this is only $50 a year, not a month, but a year, versus Serato, and I'm a longtime Serato user. I have mixed feelings about Serato. I do think Serato is better in terms of stems. The stems sound quality is better than Neural, Neural, which is what DJ has. It doesn't sound as good as Serato, so points for Serato on that. But I think DJ is going to improve it, so I think it will be better soon. But I just, as a Serato, you know, with these, a lot of times the Serato license is built in, so you paid for Serato when you paid for the unit. But you don't know how much you paid for Serato. So it's like, how much of this was the hardware and how much of it was the Serato? I don't know. I'll never know. Or Rekordbox, if you're a Pioneer fan and you're using Rekordbox. I've used Rekordbox, not a lot. Nothing really to say about it other than I just don't use it. I don't need it. I have Serato. But I'm transitioning to DJ because I like it better. So because of the fact that I can do everything that I want to do in DJ, plus the streaming capabilities far exceed anything, I think the navigation is better on the iPad and iOS version of DJ than it is in Windows. And a lot of the features that come, than it is in Serato. A lot of the features that come to DJ on iPad and iOS are not available or come late to Windows users, and DJ Windows users are upset by that as a result. By the way, I'm not being paid by DJ for any of this. I'm just telling you straight up what I like about this versus Serato. Nobody's paying me for anything. I'm just telling you what I think as a DJ that's been doing this for a long time. This is where it's at. I mean, I just don't see how this is going to change. It's a touch screen. The only thing I don't like about iPad is the screen is too small. I've been waiting for them to make an iPad which has the same screen size as a MacBook Pro. I've owned MacBook Pro. I've had 3 or 4 of those now. I want the iPad Pro to be the same size screen, but they're not doing it. I think they're just doing that to keep the cost low. But if they made a larger iPad, and the look on the booth is elegant. It's just nice. All it is an iPad on a stand, and it looks really nice. So consider that if you are a Pioneer fan or a Denon fan. Consider what your rig might look like if you just went over to the iPad. You know, I don't think Serato's offered on iPad. I'm pretty positive it's not. This DJ is really the best software for DJing on the iPad. It hands down is. And it's only going to get better, especially as the community grows. But if you don't want to lug around a lot of gear and you don't need a bunch of knobs and faders when you can do all this with your fingertips on a touch screen, because I hook mine up to a sound card like a Scarlett 2i4, and then I take the outputs of that into a mixer, a Mackie mixer where I also plug in my microphone because that has much better preamps. Or I'll use the Behringer sound card external, which has Midas preamps for my microphone. And then I can also use the headphone out of that as my cue. So I don't even need to do any splitting or anything strange like that. Plus I can charge my iPad while I am DJing. Plus it's got the built-in Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and everything else that I could possibly need. And I can do video mixing with the HDMI out with the dongle. I mean, it's just endless what I can do with this software. So anyway, I'll stop there. I just wanted to talk about the A9 and DJ. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching.